Your eyes to the skies as we welcome in our beautiful, free-flighted flock of macaws. First up, we have our blue and gold macaws. That is Sierra and Azul. Now, they are a bonded pair, so that means they will be together for the rest of their lives. Now, if you hear any screams and squawks out here, that's not them trying to say my lines. That is how they communicate in the thick rainforest.
Diego!
Right in front of me, that was Diego. He's our green-winged macaw, one of the bachelors of the group, and he pretty much does whatever he wants. Now, unfortunately, almost every species of macaw is endangered. So oftentimes we get asked, how can we help beautiful birds like the macaw? Well, you can be savvy consumers, using your purchasing power to help protect wildlife like the macaw. One way is if you happen to...
Two more.
They're swooping on in. All right, this is Cielo and Soul, our last two. Also a bonded pair, and they are our scarlet macaws, getting one of their favorite treats. They're getting a little peanut today. Now, like I was saying, you can use your purchasing power to help protect wildlife. One way is if you drink coffee, you can look for shade-grown coffee in stores, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's coffee that grows under the shade canopies of trees, allowing the homes of macaws and other wildlife to stay right where they are, and we can grow many crops that way too. Because unfortunately, we're losing their home due to crops that we want. We're cutting down trees so that we can grow crops. Not very fair. So by looking for alternatives like shade-grown coffee, we can help make sure that their tree is there for them at the end of the day. Well, it looks like they're gonna swoop on out of here. So once again, our beautiful free-flighted flock of macaws.
Yay!
All right, I always have to look over my corner because sometimes Diego likes to stay out here for the entire presentation. All right, next up, we're gonna go to our Southwest Conservation Hub, which is right here in our own backyard. And we are working with a plethora of different species, like the Kino checkered spot butterfly, as well as the desert tortoise. We're also working with the Pacific pocket mouse, and we are working with the endangered mountain yellow-legged frog, as well as plant life like the boojum and our favorite Torrey pine. Now, this next species might be familiar to some of you, and oftentimes they get a bad reputation, but I am here to change your mind. Please welcome out the ever so
Penelope.
cute and chewing. She's slow.
She's one of my favorites. She's one of my favorites.
This is Penelope, our Virginia opossum. And you heard me right, I did say opossum, because that is technically how you would say their name. If you wanted to find a possum, you would have to go all the way to Australia for that marsupial species. Now, I did just say that she is a marsupial, which means that females have a pouch. That's where they partially raise their young. Now, this is North America's only native marsupial. So this is the equivalent. Australia has kangaroos, we get opossums. Be proud, everyone. This is what we get. Pretty amazing. Yeah, she's really cute, and she's coming in at 3 years of age, which means she's ancient, because opossums live hard and fast. Maybe about 2 years max out in their native habitat, aka your backyard. But thankfully, she's here at the San Diego Zoo, where she has dental, health, vision, 401k, so we can definitely extend their lifespans. Now, opossums are great for the environment, and they do a lot of amazing things for human beings. One of which is by simply eating. They are the cleanup crew, and one of their favorite things to consume is different insects. One of their favorite bugs is a tick. They can eat up to 5,000 in a single season. That's very helpful for areas where Lyme disease might be prevalent. Also, they are the reason why we have anti-venom. So if you've ever heard of a dog or a human needing to be administered anti-venom, it's because of the opossum here. They can be bit by a rattlesnake multiple times. Oftentimes, they then turn around and eat that rattlesnake. They have a special peptide in their blood that makes them immune to that venom. Pretty cool. We were able to study that and make the anti-venom. Good job, opossums. Now they also have the famous line, playing possum. If you've ever heard that, it is actually very true. Playing dead is something that opossums do. It's an involuntary response when they're scared or threatened. Oftentimes they'll fall to the ground, their heart rate will lower, their breath will lower, and they'll excrete a very nasty smell from their back end, all in hopes of whatever threatened them thinks they passed away. Well, she's gonna walk on out of here. You got it, girl. That's my favorite.
She left her
part,
broccoli.
is that booty. She has that semi-tail that helps her climb different areas. They're able to latch onto things to help them climb. Pretty awesome. Did I change anyone's minds about opossums?
No, I still love them.
That's all I need in my life. I'm not saying she's my favorite, but she's my favorite. All right, next up, we're gonna talk about our One Health approach to saving species worldwide, because people, the environment, and wildlife are all interconnected. Wildlife can only thrive when all life thrives. That's the core of our mission and the thread that runs through all of our conservation efforts. And no species better represents this than the canine. Canines have been helping people throughout time, whether it be serving in the military, maybe being part of the police force, or being in our conservation efforts worldwide. They help us by using their superpower, which is their super sniffer. Canines have a sense of smell that is 10 to 100,000 times better than our own. So to help demonstrate that superpower, we have hidden a scented item somewhere out here for our super sniffer to find. He does like a little bit of love, so please make some noise for our super sniffer, Elvis!
Woo! Elvis!
All right, he's using that nose of his to find his scented item. We change the location every single day. I don't even know where it is today. All in hopes of stumping him, but we have never won.
I'm surprised you
currently
ran past that piece of broccoli.
357 to us 0, and now 358. Good job, Elvis. He found his stuffed koala, which is a great representation as to the canines that we have worldwide. We have canines in our Australian Conservation Hub, which are very helpful. They were helpful during the 2019 and 2020 fires that devastated the Australian outback. These canines were able to go out and sniff out any koalas who might have been displaced. Now we also have canines right here in our own backyard, the Southwest Conservation Hub, who were very helpful during the starting phases for that endangered mountain yellow-legged frog. They could go out and sniff where these frogs were so that we can help do research with them. Now we also have canines in our African Savannah Conservation Hub who do a couple different things for us. We have some who are able to sniff out poachers so that we can protect the many species we're working with in Africa, and we also have some scat sniffing dogs. Now, scat is a fancy word for poop, so these dogs are able to go out and find different types of poop so that we can help protect and study the different wildlife that we're working with. Now, they find these particular species feces so that we can study all sorts of different things. It's pretty awesome. Now, Elvis here may not be out in the field, but he has a very important job here at Wake Forth Bowl. He is part of a duo. His other half, Alunga, our South African cheetah, is in the back eating a big bone right now, and believe it or not, we have to take him away when there's food in there because he will steal it from her. Now, Elvis was in a program for Guide Dogs of America, and we don't like to say that he failed the program, but he failed the program. He's a little bit too food motivated, but that's a-okay because he is perfect dynamic duo. Once again, our amazing super sniffer, Elvis.
Bye.
All right, to help introduce our next couple of ambassadors, I'm gonna hand things on over to Jessica.
Oh, Jessica.
Thank you, David. All right, are we ready to meet some more wildlife? Yeah, awesome. All right, well, we're actually going to be heading on back to our Amazonian conservation with our next wildlife ambassador, because there are definitely lots of animals that need the trees to survive, not only the macaws, but some mammals too. So keep your eyes out, everybody. See if you can spot him. I already see a couple eyes drawing to where he's coming out here.
Tornero.
All right, everybody, please welcome Tornero
and Tony.
Our Linnaeus two-toed sloth. Ooh, and he's picking up speed today. Nice job, bud. All right, well, Tornero, he was born right here at the San Diego Zoo. His mom, Zena, is a wildlife ambassador as well, but up in our sister area, the Wildlife Explorers Base Camp right over there. And so we had the amazing opportunity to start building our relationship with him since he was an itty bitty sloth. I'm saying like this big. And so we got to start building our relationship with him at a very early age, doing things with him. And I like to say that we were kind of like free babysitters for Xena. His mom gave her a little bit of a break, and then by the time that it was his time to leave the nest, which was about anywhere between 6 to 8 months of age, he was ready to go and knew how to be a sloth on his own. Linnaeus two-toed sloths, they are pretty solitary animals. The only time that they come together is for breeding, so that's why he came down here to live out his life here. Now, sloths are pretty amazing creatures. They're one of the slowest animals out there, but I will say he can be very fast when he wants to be, especially here, but you know, out in their native habitat, if there's a predator around, they can get away quickly, but their top defense away from predators is actually camouflage. Moving that slow, they can hunker down and they can hide up in the canopies of the rainforest. They do sleep a lot of the day, and since there's a lot of moisture, a lot of rainforest in the rainforest of Central and South America, they will actually grow algae or moss on their fur, and it kind of gives them a green tint to their coloration, and so they can blend in even more up in the canopies of the rainforest, thus protecting themselves even more from predators. Now they also have false canines too that are huge, incredibly big for an animal that only eats vegetation. That's it. And so those false canines they can use to protect themselves. And also, lastly, those lovely claws on there. So those claws not only help them hang from the trees, but they can use that as a defense mechanism as well. So for an animal that's pretty slow, they can definitely combat pretty well if they need to. They also are pretty well designed to drop very far distances to the ground as well. They've got like some unique padding on their back, so they can definitely do that. Or a lot of times sloths will choose territories that are close to rivers or waterways so that they can drop right into the water because they are actually pretty good swimmers, and then they can swim to safety as well. Giving himself a nice little scratch. So as I said earlier, sloths are very slow, and a lot of the reason why they are so slow is due to what they eat, which is basically just vegetation, which vegetation they doesn't have a lot of calories to it, not a lot of energy he's going to be putting into his body, so he can't really put a lot of energy out. So everything slows down from their digestion, and then also when they have to go to the bathroom. Most sloths out in their native habitat go about every 7 to 10 days, and that's it. So, which is kind of beneficial for them because they don't want to be leaving their smell all over the place for predators to find. So it's kind of a win-win. They're also all built to hang upside down once they're not a baby anymore, because when they are a baby, they hang on the mom's stomach, and then eventually they flip over and are basically upside down for the rest of their lives. So they've got those built-in claws that they can hook onto. Scientists have actually found sloths that have already passed away still hanging. That's how strong those claws are. Even how their organs are attached in their abdomen kind of helps for the gravity situation. If you ever remember hanging upside down from the monkey bars, all the blood's going to your head. It's kind of a weird feeling. Well, they don't get that. He can actually hang by just one limb, and he's good to go. He's got an amazing core strength over there with him. But I think he might be showing his back end to you all lovely people, getting a nice little view of him. Yeah. But everybody please give it up for Tornero, our Linnaeus two-toed sloth. He might come back out or stay back in. He's like, it is hot out here, everybody. So he forgets that he's from the rainforest, but he's a kind of a spoiled San Diego boy. Now, right here, oh, is she gonna make a splash?
She's like, it's too hot.
Oh, there was a little splash, Justine. I'll give you an 8 out of 10. Everybody here, this is Justine, our North American beaver. I know most people don't get that anymore. She came named to us, named after Justin Bieber. Not sure if he knows that, but she's pretty awesome. She is our oldest beaver that we have here at the zoo. We actually have 5 beavers that are ambassadors for her species. She is 15 years old. I think she'll be 16 years old this coming June. Which is actually pretty old for a beaver, but we like to say that we have a great retirement package here at the zoo, free dental, the works. So a lot of our wildlife can surpass their natural lifespans that they would out in their native habitat. Now, North American beavers are the largest rodent. You didn't know they are part of the rodent family. They are the largest rodent of North America. Does anybody have any guesses to what the largest rodent is in the world? You can shout it out. Capybara, yeah. For those of you that haven't seen them, you're in luck. We have them right here at the San Diego Zoo. They're over in our Elephant Odyssey area. They basically look like a ginormous guinea pig. They can get up to about 100 pounds or so, while the beavers, they range anywhere between 40 to 60 pounds or so. Justine, she is currently in her winter weight. They do kind of fluctuate in their weight, even though it is 80 degrees right now. She still has her winter weight on there. She's been definitely eating lots and lots of browse to gear up to kind of do a somewhat of a switch in her schedule based on the seasons. So browse is basically just a fancy term here for any type of tree part. We give her branches, logs of a couple different types of species of trees that she naturally would be getting out in her native habitat, and they actually consume the living tissue off of that, or like the bark of that tree, and so they use that as part of their food source, but they also will use the rest of those logs to build what? What are beavers known for building? Dams, yeah, so they build dams as well as lodges. So lodges is where they actually live. Dams is how they're gonna be damming up the water. And beavers are extremely crucial to have in our ecosystems here in North America because they are considered a keystone species. Which basically is a species that keeps the whole animal world in balance. Without them, the whole thing collapses. And the way that beavers do this is by creating dams. This creates whole other ecosystems for other animals to thrive, such as like fish to populate in, bird migrating grounds. So they're very, very important to have around. So we like to have them around. She's also going to be showing you, where's she going to be hiding over there? Oh, hi, you're just going to be hiding right over there. They are basically built to swim, of course. They spend about 50% of their lives in the water. They've got huge back webbed feet to help propel in the water. They have that iconic tail as well to help steer. They also have a third eyelid, which is kind of like built-in goggles. They can pinch their nose shut as well, so water doesn't even get in their nose when they go and dive, because they can hold their breath for up to 15 minutes. And also the fur is very, very thick to the point where water doesn't really touch their skin, so it keeps them nice and warm. Well, instead of showing us her beautiful face, she's just gonna maybe sit under there and pick the algae over there. She really likes to do that. So everybody, please give it up for Justine Beaver, our North American beaver. She's so cute. I love her. She's one of my favorites. All right, well, San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is creating a world where all life thrives, and never has that been more important. As first responders in the field, we're there applying a century's worth of firsthand knowledge to global conservation challenges. We collaborate, innovate, and inspire to help people and wildlife thrive together for a healthy planet. Conservation is the heart of everything that we do, but we can't do it alone. We need dedicated allies like all of you lovely people. If you want to do more, even though you've already done enough just by coming here today, you can join the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance by becoming a member, or you can help by volunteering your time and knowledge, or you can help fund some of our bigger projects that are happening worldwide. Your support makes a world of difference, because when wildlife thrives, all life thrives. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I hope you enjoyed meeting our ambassadors, and everybody please enjoy the rest of your day here at the world famous San Diego